Hello, I'm Nigel Maughan. I'm a cartoonist, writer and small press publisher of my own comic books, and I live in Newcastle upon Tyne in the United Kingdom. This particular film is about one of my books. It's called Gyro. It started off as a small sort of A5 book, and now I've done it as a A4 book in full colour. Actually, the story behind Gyro is it's a little bit offbeat, the story, but this is because I actually drew the cover when I was doodling, and then I had to come up with a story to sort of explain it, so I wasn't terribly sure where I was going with it. Also, I had to add some 4 more pages to the end to sort of make the story a bit more understandable and to make it flow a little better. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed drawing it. A Cactus Comics production based on the comics written and drawn by Nigel Maughan. This animation is based on Gyro, the flying boy, because, don't forget, after all, it's a lot less bother when you hover. Gyro, as a boy, lived with his grandfather on his farm. His grandfather was a great inventor and repairer of things, and Gyro would watch him all day in his workshop as he made all manner of fascinating devices. His grandfather made a living by using dummies to train donkeys to give rides to children on the beach during the summer. However, the drawback of this was, of course, the dummies didn't move and children did, and that scared the donkeys, so the children got scared too. So his grandfather put his mind to it and decided he would build a gyroscope into the dummies to make them move, and to train the donkeys to let the children ride on their backs. There was one unfortunate drawback to this, of course. What he hadn't actually worked out was that they neutralised gravity and they all floated away. Now, these are very, very expensive things to make, these gyroscopes, and his grandfather was a little bit worried, so he didn't know what to do. He thought it would be a good idea to put on another gyroscope himself and fly up there, but he was too heavy to go up. So he asked Gyro if he would do it, and he readily agreed. And his grandfather fitted him out with 2 gyroscopes so he could fly like the dummies. Come the day, the grandfather fired them up. The gyroscope started to work, and of course Gyro floated up. When he got up into the sky, he liked it so much, he decided to spend a little bit of time there, and he found that the dummies actually began to orbit round him because they were attracted by his much larger gyroscopes. So they were like little moons floating round him. And he stayed up there and he had a lovely view and he felt very safe and he enjoyed himself and didn't really want to come down. However, people noticed him because he was up there and became very jealous and saying, "Why can't we fly? Why are you up there? Why do we have to walk?" And they began to shout and demand that he came down. In fact, they got very nasty about it and started to threaten him. Gyro, of course, got very scared and he didn't want to come down. So he was up there floating around with the dummies orbiting around and didn't really know what to do. Unfortunately, the crowd eventually turned on his grandfather and killed him. And he watched the whole thing from his vantage point and became very sad and also very scared. He didn't know whether he should come down or just stay where he was. Then, of course, the people on the ground decided it for him. Instead of just leaving him alone and letting him get on with it, they tried to shoot him down. For some reason, the idea that someone could fly and they couldn't was making them very, very angry. Fortunately, they couldn't hit him, and he found out that if he flew a little bit higher into the clouds, he could hide, and also their bullets couldn't reach him. However, the ingenuity of angry men is boundless, and they got together some hot air balloons and decided to come after him. He hid in the clouds and managed to avoid him, but he realised he could never return to the ground again. He would have to stay there amongst the clouds on his own. But safe, because after all, don't forget, It's a lot less bother when you hover. He wasn't alone. Even up there, other creatures also shared that space. They seemed easy in his company and even rested on him. However, some of the bigger birds were not friendly at all. As time went by, they became more and more aggressive. Eventually, he was forced to land again and risk the wrath of the crowds. So remember the moral of our tale: if you rise up above others, you must take care that you are welcome if you ever have to come back down again. The end. You can look for my comics on the comicsy.com website and the March Hare Comics store. I have Kindle books on Amazon, videos on YouTube, and pages on Facebook.